Good afternoon, Neshoba County. My name is Mike Hurst, and I'm your Republican candidate for Attorney General in this great state of Mississippi. It is good to be home in East Central Mississippi. I want to be your Attorney General to fight against the Obama administration and all the federal overreaches coming down to Mississippi. I want to be your Attorney General to protect and stand up for our Mississippi values. I want to be your Attorney General to prosecute public corruption and to clean up our state. Now let me tell you a little about myself. I grew up about 33 miles south of here, Newton County, the big city of Hickory. I married a beautiful young lady from Newton, Mississippi, Celeste Hurst. She's here today, right over here. We went to East Central Community College. We're proud warriors. Went over to Jackson, finished up college in Jackson, moved to D.C., went to law school in D.C. After law school, I worked at a law firm for a few years, and then I felt the tug of public service and moved up to Capitol Hill and worked for the House Judiciary Committee, and then I worked for my congressman, our congressman at the time, from back home, Congressman Chip Pickering. In 2006, Celeste and I started having a lot of babies. We had 3 babies and 1 on the way at the time, and we knew we weren't raising them right in D.C., and we had to come back home. And so in 2006, we had the opportunity to come back home, and I was blessed to become a federal prosecutor in the U.S. Attorney's Office in Jackson, Mississippi, where I did all kinds of cases from tax evasion, immigration, fraud, and most recently, public corruption. Now, some folks came to Celeste and I at the beginning of this year and asked if I'd ever thought about running for Attorney General. To be honest with you, I love being a federal prosecutor. It had never crossed my mind to run for Attorney General. But we began to look at that position and look at who held that position. And we began to see things. When I qualified to run, my opponent qualified a few weeks earlier. When he qualified to run, he told the newspaper, I wasn't going to run again, I was just going to retire. But then Google picked a fight with me. And he said he wants 4 more years to fight with Google. I looked at that, and it broke my heart and made me mad all at the same time. Because I know the crime we have in Mississippi. I know the public corruption we have in Mississippi. And I couldn't for the life of me figure out why he wanted to sue Google for the next 4 years. But ladies and gentlemen, we know now. You've read the newspapers the last few days. You'll see it appears my opponent has sold our Attorney General's office to Hollywood. You'll see that he has got lobbyists and special interest groups drafting subpoenas to go after Google. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's wrong that our state Attorney General's office is being used by special interests to go after other companies. That's going to be in this year. Now, ladies and gentlemen, my opponent's not the guy you elected 12 years ago. And what I mean by that, well, 2 years ago, he moved to Chickasaw County and told the newspaper he was going to open a 1-man office in Houston, Mississippi, and run the statewide Attorney General's office out of that 1-man office off his iPhone and his iPad. We need a full-time Attorney General, not a part-time Attorney General. We need an Attorney General who's present on the ground, not absentee Attorney General. We need an Attorney General who is a leader in that office and will provide leadership in that office. And I'll tell you, I'm going to be present on the ground, in the job, and I'm going to provide that leadership that Attorney General's office needs. 3 things we're going to do. First and foremost, we're going to fight back against the Obama administration and all that federal overreach is coming down and telling us how to run our state. My opponent is Obama's Attorney General in Mississippi. I want to be the Attorney General who is for Mississippi, not for President Obama. President Obama has issued executive orders on immigration, on EPA. ATF wants to ban our ammunition. All these things are killing our pocketbooks and killing jobs that want to come to Mississippi. Ladies and gentlemen, we need a guard dog in the Attorney General's office, not a lap dog for President Obama. You elect me Attorney General, I will be your guard dog, and I will not rest until Obama is stopped for coming back to Mississippi. The second thing I'll tell you, we need somebody standing up for our values. You know, recently it breaks my heart, and I can barely talk about it. News coming out about Planned Parenthood trying to conserve organs of murdered unborn children through abortion. AGs around the country are calling for investigations of Planned Parenthood. I've called for investigations in Mississippi of Planned Parenthood. My opponent is absent in the call for investigations of Planned Parenthood. Recently, the Supreme Court said gay marriage is a right in the United States of America. A lot of churches, a lot of religious groups disagree with that. The Obama administration said there might be an issue with those churches and those religious groups' tax-exempt status if they disagree with gay rights. AGs have petitioned Congress to protect the tax-exempt status of our churches. I have joined that petition. My opponent has been absent. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a sad day when we have a statewide elected official that does not reflect our Mississippi values, and we need an Attorney General who will stand up and protect those Mississippi values. Now, the last thing I will tell you is the third thing we're going to do is we're going to prosecute public corruption. And I know a little bit about public corruption. You see, as a federal prosecutor, I prosecuted Chris Epps, the commissioner of the Mississippi Department of Corrections. I prosecuted the mayor of Vicksburg, the mayor of Walnut Grove, a couple of supervisors around the Southern District of Mississippi, deputy sheriffs. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a public corruption problem in the state of Mississippi. Last year, we were ranked #1 in the nation in public corruption. And we have an Attorney General who is absent in the fight against public corruption. You know, recently there's been a lot of news about campaign finance reports. And you know, with that news, we went back and looked at my opponent's campaign finance reports. And as Lucy used to say, he's got a lot of explaining to do. In the last 3 non-election years, 2012, 2013, and 2014, my opponent has spent almost $210,000 on credit card expenses and payments to himself that are completely unaccounted for. Our Attorney General, I prayed this morning for our Attorney General. Our Attorney General needs to tell us what he's spending campaign funds for. And here's why. When I prosecuted public corruption, I saw corrupt officials handing out state contracts and getting something in return. Well, we all know that my opponent hands out state contracts to lawyers, and he gets campaign contributions in return. The concern I have, and I hope it's not right, is that he's using those campaign contributions for his personal benefit. I pray that's not right. I pray that he'll come forward and tell us what he spent almost $210,000 over those 3 non-election years when he lists other legitimate-looking campaign expenses, but what he's spending that campaign money that he's being given by special interest groups. You know, our Attorney General should be of the highest ethical standards. He should be the gold standard in the state of Mississippi. We need him to step up and tell us as Mississippians how he's using that money. Yesterday, I filed my campaign finance report for this past month. I paid credit card bills on that campaign finance report, and I posted to our website today those statements and those receipts detailing how we spend that campaign money. I call upon our Attorney General to do the same, so there's no question as how he's using that. In conclusion, I want to be your full-time, on-the-ground, present Attorney General fighting for Mississippi. My opponent, if you vote for my opponent, you have 4 more years of the Obama policies and possibly the Hillary policies. You got 4 more years of no one standing up and protecting our Mississippi values. And you got 4 more years of public corruption continuing to run amok in the state of Mississippi. A vote for Mike Hurst is a vote to push back against D.C. and these policies that are telling us how to run our state. It's a vote to protect our values in Mississippi that we hold dear. And I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, it's a vote to prosecute public corruption and to clean up our state once and for all, and for good. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mike Hurst. I'm your Republican candidate for Attorney General. I ask for your vote on November 3rd. May God bless the great state of Mississippi and the United States of America. Thank you.